Hey, I'm Mike Smuts. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at the Flowery.
So tell us about how you got connected with the Flowery.
Oh man, I'm super fortunate to be able to do what I'm really passionate and what I love to do.
Yeah.
And that is being involved with marijuana and cannabis. It's been a big part of my whole life. And when my last opportunity and journey was coming to an end and I was figuring out the next one, I organically actually just reached out to the Flowery on Instagram. No joke.
Just like that?
Just like that?
You guys looking for a C.O.O?
Well, they weren't at the time, so I direct messaged them, just told them, hey, you guys are rad, congrats, I think what you are doing is cool, and oh, by the way, I'm a free agent now, so if you're ever looking for any help or whatever, I'd love to help you out. Fast forward about a year after that, I was in an airport in Birmingham, Alabama, and I was sitting there and I was like, man, I gotta stop working in weed in Alabama and get back to Florida and figure it out. And a mentor and a guy that I look up to immensely. He's in Nederland, Colorado. His shop's called Harvest House. His name's Stacy. He's one of the guys why we have an industry. People like him who have been growing pot and selling pot and caring about really good pot for the last 40 plus years, 30 years. I think he's been a grower. He introduced me to someone who got me to in front of Alad, our CEO.
Okay.
And when I met Alad, it was very obvious why the Flowery is such a special thing, because Alad's a really
awesome.
inspirational, unique
Awesome.
leader and executive in general. But to put that on top of a cannabis company and then be able to do what I love, that's kind of how I got here. So like it was a very organic, it was meant to be.
Serendipitous, kind of.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Just because you sent an Instagram message, like, essentially, that's how that launched off.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer now, and things usually work out.
Yeah.
There's a plan if you stay positive about
Yeah.
it and just kind of keep working hard. And
What were you doing before this?
I've been in cannabis since 2009.
Okay.
So I helped. I became the GM, and I was like security guard, bartender, everything at one of the first dispensaries in Denver that opened up in 2009. One of the first 10, and I've been lucky enough to just work with a lot of fun, great companies since then. And when the opportunity to come to Florida happened, I'm a Rolling Stone, and I'm a big believer. Like we were just saying in the parking lot, like one of the funnest parts of the job here at the Flowery and what we're doing in Florida is that we get to come out to all these amazing towns in Florida, see parts of Florida that most people don't know are there or even really talk about or think about. They're always talking about the beach towns or going to the sports events or whatever, but you get out in these communities and like you realize how beautiful this state is, and it's a really great place to be doing the pot business for sure.
So then what do you actually do during your day? Like how do you...
I was just gonna ask that. Like, what is the life of a COO of a
Good question,
awesome
Vanessa.
Flowery? What does that look like?
It's a great way to wake up for sure. I get to help be the right-hand guy to, like I said, a really visionary and inspirational leader that gives a lot of autonomy to me and all our leadership and our leadership team. And really at the end of the day, our goal is to produce and deliver and present the best cannabis experience that we can. I usually start my weeks and I cruise across Alligator Alley or Old Tamiami Trail and I catch a beautiful sunset, and the first person I talk to usually in the week's our director of cultivation, because he's almost already he travels too down to Redlands, and he's usually there at 8, so he's on the road at 5, and we talk around 6 or 7. We talk about the families, how the weekend was, then we kind of get into the garden and what's happening. And see you guys. Congratulations, store number 5. Love it. See you back in Miami. So I talk to him and I catch up, and then my next call is usually to Donovan, who just popped his head in. See you a lot. Peace.
So good to meet you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
That's usually like right when I'm getting on Alligator Alley or whatever. I get in touch with Donovan. We talk about the facility and construction projects, and we kind of catch up on things like he helps me out a lot with higher level ops and new store opening. I use a lot of my windshield time to knock out kind of the start up the week and wind down the week stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And then I stop in Wynwood at our HQ and I sit with Alad, and then we do our high level and kind of get aligned for the week and identify what are the hot buttons and the not so hot buttons.
Yeah.
And then
Sounds like such a fun life, man.
It is.
I
It's
wanna
very
be-
fun. Thank you.
I'm
I love it.
Strong industry.
Trying not to turn green.
So,
Yeah.
so then, and then between the farm and the Wynwood, the Wynwood office is like Disney Studios. It's insane. Like we have the most creative people and very talented. You could tell with this dab of day the dab, and this is Dustin, our creative officer.
Oh yeah, we met him.
Yeah, it's like I tell a lot, and Dustin and Maddie and everyone, that when I go in there, it feels like I'm like walking into like what probably was Walt Disney Studios and stuff like back in the day, and like to be able to do it through the lens of cannabis and like have connections and understandings, like going back to that Association of Counties meetings and stuff, and then seeing where cannabis has come now, it's just like the raddest thing ever.
Could you ever have imagined having a job like this when you were young? Because it's like the dream.
Right, like when you're a
man,
child, you're never like, I'm gonna grow up and be the C.O.O. of like a company or like a marijuana dispensary.
Yeah, I did not know. I like no.
What did you think you were gonna be when you were a kid?
Oh man, I freaked my parents out and told them some pretty crazy shit what I was gonna be when I was an older. Yeah, that's one way to say it. Yeah, but no, I just was always a person that was lucky enough to be raised in a family and be around people and friends, and through my schooling and all the schools I got to go to and stuff is like, people always encouraged me to, follow your dreams and passions and like not be afraid to be yourself. I went to I think I had over 1,000 people in my graduating class in my high school outside of Philadelphia, and I knew every single one of their names, and like that's something that I've always kind of carried with me, and I always gravitated towards helping people out and helping people accomplish common goals and stuff. So I think that's part of why I ended up here. And then when I went to school out in Boulder, Colorado, and I saw how much more cannabis was part of society and the culture, but still with all these very highly functional, very cool, inspirational people. And I knew that, pretty much everything I heard about it my whole life definitely was not necessarily true. And so I decided to be a part of something that's telling a different story.
I actually read a statistic, this is interesting, but did you know Florida now has more than 700,000 medical marijuana patients, which is more than twice pre-pandemic.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's like the leading state of medical marijuana patients.
Yeah.
It has the most.
Yeah, I think we're north of 800,000 now.
Really?
We're probably close to 820,000. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So it's that. So it's probably the third largest. I think what I've heard and read is I think it's the third largest market, period, in the world, like regardless of medical or recreational status, from a dollar standpoint, and it's the largest medical market by far. And then if you think about us compared to other places where patient adoption has happened, like there's really conservative numbers. People say 2% or 6% or whatever it is of the population. 800,000 out of the 22 million we have. There's still, I think, even more room to grow. So like with Florida's cool. Like it started with the retirement and like that kind of a community, which is like there's a built-in happy hour. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, like every day, with like that whole scene where you guys are from. And
Did you say that it's like 80% of people over 75?
65.
Yeah, over 65
are
smoke
using
weed.
marijuana in some way, or like for pain or whatever. Yeah,
I believe
over
that.
80%. Or 80%.
Yeah, I believe it. It's unbelievable the percentage of like population that will at least do pot once in the year, and then there's like a smaller group that'll do it twice, and then there's the group that'll do it once a month or once a quarter, and then there's people like me and Josephine that do it every day, morning, noon, and night.
That's awesome. Wait, so I have a question. So what's the like vision or the future for the Flowery? This is the 5th store, is that true? The 5th one in Florida?
Yeah.
How many more? What's the sky's the limit? What's the goal? Like the 10-year goal or the 20-year goal?
We want to be like continue to be really conscious. Like we're really proud of our stores. Our stores sell about twice as much as the average store in Florida does. So we feel like we'll be able to accomplish what other people are doing with half as many stores. So we aren't going to open 100 stores. We're not going to open 50 stores. Hopefully by the end of this year we open another 4 or 5 stores.
Okay. In Florida?
In Florida, yep. We're going to open Hollywood down in South Broward County.
Yep.
We got a really cool location there right off of I-95. We're going to open Port Orange, which is over near Daytona Beach, about 5 miles just south of Daytona Beach.
Yep.
Really awesome community. Brevard County has a unbelievable patient base and a really strong cannabis culture, and it's a big deal over there. And then we're gonna open Tallahassee. We were just up there yesterday checking out our location. It's amazing. It's in the old Lucky's shopping center, and just kind of at the center of Main and Main, and just with the the college community and with the political community up there. It's just a cool place to be for pot, for Florida pot. And then we're gonna come down closer to our neck of the woods on the Gulf Coast, and we're gonna be in Venice around the end of summer.
Sweet.
And then above and beyond that, we're definitely focused on Palm Beach County is a really big county for recommendations and for a patient base.
Sure.
Really good cannabis culture there. And Lee County, that's really high up on. And then we're gonna go see the Panhandle. That's probably one of the, if not the most underserved community in Florida, out in Pensacola, and
Yeah, way up there.
where
Down
Josephine's
Destin,
from.
and like, yeah.
Yeah,
Where you
St.
from?
George Island.
St. George Island.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Dog
if you don't
Island,
have a
St. George
Flowery
Island.
near you yet, you will.
Yep,
soon.
and we just started delivering to the Panhandle. We just started delivering out past Tallahassee. We have a delivery zone into Pensacola now.
Sweet.
With opening Jacksonville, we were able to get vans going out that way and run them out that. So,
That's awesome.
Full state delivery now.
Full state delivery?
Yeah.
yeah.
So even if you don't live near a Flowery, you can have product from a Flowery delivered to you?
They can order online.
Great.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the vision and the future of the Flowery, I think one of the biggest things that differentiates us outside of the flower forwardness of our company and how much love and genuineness and consciousness and cleanliness
so high quality.
and
It's so
hand
high quality.
trim and no funny business, no radiation or mitigation machines that you run tumble the weed through like all our competition does or anything like that. This is really a beautiful expression of the plant, and we try and put it in the bag and make sure you open it that way. But aside from the quality side, our whole patient experience with our website and all the amazing like art and effects and swag and the ease of our online ordering and delivery system, and you get a little text and the tracking, and
Yeah.
our drivers are really nice and professional.
So
and
sophisticated.
it is so
Sophisticated.
yes,
like,
our
literally. It's the
I don't-
most
I don't-
modern, like,
I don't even smoke weed, but I love this company.
thank you.
I love
Yeah,
this,
I
I
do.
love this
That's
company
awesome.
so much. dude.
Yeah, thanks. We
I
do
do,
too.
but I don't have a card. But I walked into this dispensary and I was like, what? Like, where
Yeah.
am I right now?
Thank you.
It's like, this is like the
So,
highest quality anything I've ever seen.
If
Cool,
a dispensary,
thanks.
just the aesthetics alone and the experience, says anything about your vision and mission and values, I mean, it says everything. It's
Yep.
like you walk in and you can immediately tell that
You know what you're
care
gonna
about. You care about the patient experience. You care about the product. You care got that impression immediately. So
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we all care about each other. So we're gonna crush this pot thing here. But I think this team, if we put our heads to, hopefully this is just the beginning for this team, and we can kind of put our heads to. We're really fond of doing the right thing and taking care of people and each other. And there's a lot more than just making money on this thing. It starts with passion, and it ends with how do I get better and how do I bring other people up too.
right, yeah.
Can I tell you a really cool pot and movie story?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
All right, great. Okay, so everyone had you remember Blockbusters,
Yeah,
right?
I
Okay,
remember
so
those.
before Blockbuster, what was the name of the movie store in your town?
Hollywood Video.
You had Hollywood Video,
Hollywood Video.
but before that, you had like Mom and Pop
Yeah.
Video, right? And you would go in and you get the little thing off of the Velcro,
Yep.
had the little poker chips, and you grab that and you'd bring it to the counter, right?
We didn't have poker chips, but it was like an empty movie case.
Is empty movie case, and you
Yeah.
brought that. Okay, cool.
Okay,
Ours
great.
was like a little movie, whatever. So mine was called Magic Video, the Magic
Okay.
Video, and it was like it was in the old little. I grew up outside of Philadelphia, up in the Northeast too. So it was like kind of in this old little strip mall next to the barber, Ficca's barber shop, and there's a little Chinese restaurant, and then there's the Magic Video, and their sign. I'll never forget the sign. It was like an old wizard, kind of like Gandalf looking wizard, and he had his like
Hell yeah.
crystal ball,
Hell yeah.
and it said the Magic Video, and it's just full like you're loving this 80s baby, right?
yeah.
It's
I
like
love
the
it so
analog.
much.
We're the luckiest generation
Yeah.
because
we
and
just squeaked by.
we get the best of both worlds.
Yep.
We had full analog of the late 70s, early 80s into the early 90s, and then we got to either see this whole crazy technological thing happen, and we're like so not immersed in it, where it's like some people they're younger than us and they're TikToking and doing all that stuff, but like
Yeah.
so the Magic Video, right? So I would go in there like ritualistically, like the way I do with my kids. At the end of the week, mom and dad would take you in there, and you go get your movies for the weekend, get your popcorn,
Yep.
like peek into the R section. There was always the one with the curtain over it
Yeah.
that was even past R and shit. And you're like, whoa. But then there's all the other stuff, right? And it was like this, you'd see your friends, you'd see, oh, so-and-so, what movie are you getting? And this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You'd be bummed when the video, and they didn't have, they're like,
I
you're
would
like,
terrorize myself by going to the horror section and I'd look at the backs of the movies. Like there's that movie House or like Ghoulies.
Oh.
You ever see Ghoulies?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And like the cover of the box is this gremlin coming out of a
Scary,
toilet.
yeah.
And I couldn't sit on the toilet for the longest time
Because of the back of that video?
Yeah, I thought a butt biter was gonna come and get me, and I'm like, not me, dude. I don't sit down.
That's trauma. That's serious trauma.
Seriously.
Yeah, you might want to consider some plant
We're
medicine to
attacking
heal
you.
that trauma. So, magic video, right? This amazing experience. It's like one of those places that, like, in my life, I could still touch, feel, smell, close my eyes.
Yep.
I could transport back to magic video. Fast forward. My grandparents lived up in the Adirondack Mountains. They had a camp up there. And my parents instilled a love of nature in us. We would always go hiking and whatever. And I'm there with my dad and my brother and our dog. And we're hiking up some mountain outside of Lake Placid, New York. And we're in the middle of nowhere. It's beautiful. It's like, the best part about coming in these Florida towns too is like you can smell the air. Like it smells like Colorado up here in Ocala. There's so many pine trees and stuff. Like it smells like real fresh air. It's like one of these places, and I'm like smelling the air. And these two kind of like dudes totally walk by us coming down the mountain, right? And one of them smoking. What I perceive as, I don't know what he's smoking, but anyway, he comes down, he's smoking. And my little brother behind me, as we're walking up the mountain, I'll never forget it. And it's still to this day like the greatest memory. It's the first time I ever really connected what pot was. But my brother goes, "Dad, it smells like magic video out here." And it literally, in my head, and I might have been, I don't know, I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old.
Wow.
And it finally connected that I was like, oh my God, they're smoking pot in the back of the
You've been led to this position your entire life?
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
That's
So
wild.
good, dude.
Yeah, so that's my magic video movie story. It deals with pot. But
That's funny.
you guys are cool. Thanks for letting me talk to you. This is fun.
Thanks for talking with us.
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Yes.
Good to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great to
thank
meet
you
you
so
guys
much.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is awesome.
I-35 with the top down, quick to tell a hater they should get like me. Seem like everybody wanna be the boss, but it costs and these lames ain't shit like me. Drop a couple bands on the crypto fan.